sometimes I do imagine him coming home.
Jason Landry's disappearance on December 13, 2020 has left his family, friends, and the public searching for answers in a case that remains hauntingly unresolved. A 21-year-old college student from Texas State University, Jason set out from his apartment in San Marcos that night to drive home to Missouri City for winter break. However, somewhere along the way, his journey took a tragic turn, leading to his abandoned car on a remote road and absolutely no sign of Jason himself. His family has tirelessly pursued every avenue to keep the search for Jason alive, despite setbacks, time delays, and the lack of concrete leads. Jason's family recalls a young man full of life and kindness. His parents, Kent and Lisa Landry, have shared stories of their son's love for music, sports, and close-knit connections. Raised in Missouri City, Texas, Jason was known for his warm, welcoming nature, a quality that made his disappearance absolutely crushing for his loved ones to comprehend. On December 13th, Jason left San Marcos expecting nothing more than a routine trip home. But by the early hours of December 14th, he was missing, leaving behind only scattered belongings and countless questions for those who knew him. Jason's Nissan Altima was found abandoned on Salt Flat Road around 12:30 a.m. on December 14th. The car, damaged and empty, contained Jason's wallet, cell phone, and even his clothes. Strewn around in a way that suggested he might have left suddenly, authorities initially treated the car as an ordinary abandoned vehicle, assuming the driver would return. It was only after Jason's family reported him missing later that day that a full search operation began. This delay likely impacted the availability of clues and evidence that could have shed light on this disappearance. Once the search was fully underway, Jason's family worked closely with Texas EquuSearch, law enforcement, and volunteers to comb through the area around Salt Flat Road. Drones, canine units, and searchers on foot covered miles of rugged terrain, investigating ponds, fields, and even wooded areas. Although search dogs followed a scent to a nearby pond, efforts to find Jason in or around the area yielded no results, leading to growing frustrations and a suspension of the physical search after several weeks. Jason's family, determined not to give up, kept pushing for more resources and public attention, ensuring that the investigation would continue even as leads dwindled. Despite the limited progress, his parents remained determined, convinced that even a small piece of information could be the key to unraveling this mystery. Faced with the physical search's challenges, Jason's family urged law enforcement to explore digital avenues, especially his phone records and location data. The locked phone initially posed difficulties, but authorities eventually accessed his digital footprint through a subpoena. Still, the data yielded no clear indication of Jason's final actions or truly any communication that might explain his presence on Salt Flat Road. Determined to leave no stone unturned, the Landry family petitioned the court for a geofence warrant, hoping to identify any other cell phones or digital devices that might have been in the area at the time of Jason's disappearance. A geofence warrant follows and allows investigators to collect data from cell phone towers to see which devices were nearby within a specific time frame. Although such warrants can be challenging to secure due to privacy concerns, Jason's parents remain hopeful that this data could uncover new leads or even link Jason's disappearance to someone else in the area that night.
I'm telling you well. You don't come home from nights out.
Jason Landry was on his way home from college for Christmas break in 2020. He never made it.
In the months following Jason's disappearance, the Landry family organized numerous fundraisers, vigils, and awareness events, determined to keep the public's attention on their son's case. Kent and Lisa Landry shared Jason's story with local and national news outlets, hoping the publicity might encourage anyone with information to come forward. The family launched social media campaigns, created flyers, and even reached out to community organizations to spread Jason's story as widely as possible. To encourage more tips and support the investigation, the family also raised the reward money. They organized donation drives and partnered with local businesses to collect funds, eventually offering a substantial reward in the hopes that it would incentivize someone with knowledge to come forward. The reward was periodically increased as the case dragged on, demonstrating the Landry's family commitment to finding their son despite the lack of new leads. The Landry family has been open about the emotional toll of Jason's disappearance, describing the experience as a nightmare and an unrelenting pain. They've remained vocal advocates for Jason, channeling their grief into action, from organizing searches to lobbying for legislative changes that could improve protocols for missing persons investigations. Their strength has inspired friends, neighbors, and strangers alike, building a community around Jason's case that spans beyond Texas. The Landry's relentless push for answers has also highlighted gaps in rural missing person cases that sparked a conversation on the challenges of investigating disappearances in remote areas. Through their advocacy, they've shed light on the need for improvements in digital evidence gathering, search protocols, and resource allocation, hoping to help other families who may have similar situations in the future. In 2022, the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit became actively involved in Jason's case. This specialized unit brought additional resources and expertise, reviewing the case from new angles and reevaluating evidence. The Attorney General's office worked alongside local law enforcement to explore any possible leads, analyze forensic data, and continue Jason's search, emphasizing a commitment to finding answers for the Landry family and pursuing justice. Jason Landry's case stands as both a personal tragedy and a call to action. His family's tireless dedication to finding him serves as a reminder of the lengths loved ones will go for closure and justice. Their ongoing efforts raising funds, advocating for advanced digital searches, and pushing for legislative changes have helped and kept Jason's story alive and underscored the importance of persistence in missing persons cases. Even years later, Jason's family's friends and supporters continue to search, hoping to bring him home, or at the very least understand what happened on that dark night in December. The work has resonated widely, drawing attention to the struggles families face in rural disappearances and urging improvements in search and rescue processes. The Landry family remains hopeful that, with the community's support and continued investigation, Jason's fate will eventually come to light.
Sometimes I do imagine him coming home. So, who knows? I think it's just more for a way for me to have him close by.
Jason Landry's case actually piqued my interest specifically because his case reminds me a lot of other cases that have ended in the same mysterious way. There seems to be a phenomenon that is tied between having concussions and having hypothermia. There's been several cases where individuals have crashed their car and just undressed themselves and then just walked into the wilderness and succumbed to the weather. There's been several cases that this has been recorded and also theorized. I actually pulled up the word for scientifically what it's called. I'm going to probably butcher this, but bear with me, I'm sure you're used to it. It's paradoxical undressing and hypothermia, which is also paradoxical undressing, which basically occurs, and it's a phenomenon linked to hypothermia, and it involves people feeling an intense sudden heat and sensation causing them to undress even though their body temperature is dangerously low. There's several cases like this, and I do believe that Jason Landry is a victim of this exact thing. I do believe that Jason was driving down that dirt road, distracted, probably trying to find Google Maps, trying to figure out where he was. He drove off that dirt road, hit a tree, became unconscious, possibly for hours. The car was off. He became hypothermic. He got hypothermia. He woke up, and he was a victim of paradoxical undressing. There are many cases just like his. I mean, I don't know if you guys know about Benjamin Kyle, the Burger King guy. He was found he just woke up behind a dumpster. He had no idea who he was, no idea why he was there. And it was, I believe, like in 2004 or 5. And they didn't find out who he was until 2015, just through DNA testing that his family had done. So that's another case where he believes he had crashed his car going somewhere, and then for almost 10 years, he was completely lost from his family because he had no idea who he was. There's also another case it's not called anything. His name is Brandon Lawson, and he went missing after his truck ran out of gas, and he had called 911, and the dispatcher remembers hearing him sound super disoriented, and they never found him or his body. Now, noted, that's not like they found his clothing anywhere, but again, hypothermia, cars, I mean, this whole thing, it's just all tied together. Jason Landry's case really reminds me of stuff like this, it just shows that the human body can just do so many different things. And there's just Mara Moray. There's another one from New Hampshire. I just remember her case. She just left her car there. Her clothing was left in a ditch, and it appears that she wandered into the woods and succumbed to exposure, because she was due to hypothermia. She just took off all her clothes. But again, that case is still unsolved. So those are several almost identical cases to Jason Landry. So I was really drawn to this case because once I actually watched all the interviews and I actually did all the research, I thought, wow, I don't think they know about paradoxical undressing. So, yeah, that's what I think happened, unfortunately. I've watched one of the interviews, the most recent one. It came out a month ago, and it seems that the family has agreed to move on, and they do believe that he has moved on as well. So I'm sorry for their loss if they do believe that, and I hope that maybe they do find this information about paradoxical undressing in their journey, and they get a little bit of closure, knowing that this phenomenon might have been what took their son. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you got a little bit of information out of this, please sub, like, and comment. Another case that maybe I should be looking into. I appreciate all the new subs. It means the world to me. Till next time, stay safe. So